So obviously, Dota coming out of 2023 was in a weird place, right? The community, insufferable, as always, of course. Every time Valve did what they asked, they would say, oh, not like that. No, we want an esports focus. We don't want a battle pass. Okay, have this. No, we actually want the battle pass. We want the hats. Sorry. We just wanted them for free the whole time. That's what we were complaining about. Anyway, the community was insufferable, but Valve also turned around and said, we're not going to do the DPC anymore. It's the Dota professional circuit. And there was a real worry about what this might mean, because the DPC wasn't just, grassroots, different tiers, different leagues, a reason for people to come together and play the game competitively, essentially generating jobs for players and broadcast talent if those tournaments were covered. It also had the majors there. They had 3 majors, I think it was, annually, and a TI, right? Now, the only Valve remaining tournament is TI. All the rest of that DPC is gone. And suddenly, the broadcast talent, the players, everyone's looking at the fucking calendar going, fuck. We wanted changes to the DPC. Did we want it to die? Did we want Valve to come out and say, all right, yeah, I'm sure there'll be a load of tournament organizers running freelance events. No, I'm not too sure if we wanted to risk that, actually. So, in March the same year, so 5 months prior, I think, to the Valve announcement, I had leaked what ESL were doing, what the ESL Faceit Group were doing, which was they were repurposing all of their Dota calendar to basically be one big long season, with Dream League being essentially qualifier for the Riyadh Masters, the road to Riyadh. That was how it was conceptualized, and I published it, and it was on my Substack, and it went over onto the Dota 2 subreddit, where some clown put a label on it going unconfirmed rumors and speculation. So, yep, well, still waiting for that wrong story I published, but don't worry about it, guys. I'm just a clout goblin. Harumi 2. Bullshit boogaloo. But anyway, we got it out there, and then suddenly what started happening after the DPC announcement was Valve weren't there anymore, and broadcast talent looked to be getting scared, and ESL went to the broadcast talent at the end of 2023 and said, oh, listen, we're having some problems, financial issues. This is the Saudi state-owned Savvy Games Group parent company, ESL Faceit Group, right? We're having some financial issues. What? Are you serious? Yeah, and we need all of y'all to take approximately 15% pay cut. And Dream League's a long tournament, right? So, and they said specifically, it's a one-off. And so people agreed. But it's never a one-off. And so, as you can see, it ended up being strung out. I'll just read you the whole report. It's my own work. ESL Faceit Group requested Dota 2 broadcast talent take pay cuts while working their circuit. According to multiple sources familiar with the matter, the ESL Faceit Group requested that broadcast talent that work their events take cuts to their day rate to ensure they were hired. While the cuts are believed to be different for each member of talent, the sources placed the average pay cut in the region of a 15% reduction. This comes at a time when the esports tournament operator has announced an extended tournament circuit and a tournament in Riyadh with a prize pool of $5 million. And this is what I find interesting about this. I'll go back to Big Head for a moment, right? This is what I find interesting about it, right? We've just watched we watched it on stream together. Remember I did the funny joke. Oh, it'd be terrible if there was 10 and then there was 15 and then the stream went down mysteriously, and then it was 24 and all of that, right? We've just seen how all of the fucking organizations that people like Jonas Gunderson, for example, who claim to care about, we need a collaboration, we need to bring all stakeholders together, the community together. We all need to figure out, how we can make this work for everybody, right? And of course, not everybody, but everybody, right? But it's like, okay, and they did that, they say that, and then they're all publicly going, wow, life-changing money. Life-changing, look at the life-changing money. That is literally baked in to the advertisements for the Esports World Cup, by the way. Life-changing money. You have to say it, kiss that ring, and or that ring, and fucking say it. And they're all saying it. Can the broadcast talent have any of that life-changing money, guys? Valid question, right? If we're doing this for everybody, yeah, and we're trying to make it, a real community, sustainability. Why do the broadcast talent have to get shafted? Can anyone answer that one? Well, of course not. Right, sir, I've got a sir, and you'll see the questions I asked ESL, and they not only, by the way, they not only didn't answer me, they told people not to talk to me about. They're fucking fuming right now. Like, for real, I'm sailing very close to the wind here. I think I may have to get like a log cabin somewhere for the inevitable Walter White style exit from esports that I'm gonna have to do. Anyway, the reduction in pay was presented as a one-off necessity ahead of the last Dream League season of 2023, but was then requested again for the hiring of ESL One Kuala Lumpur, which was again at the end of 2023. Then in a group call at the start of the year, it was explained the pay cuts would have to be permanent as they were looking to cut talent rates company-wide. ESL would go on to lay off 15% of their workforce in February 2024. There was a big call between the talent and ESL where they explained they were being squeezed. Hold that thought. And we're having to cut talent rates, one source explained. It started off as a one-off thing because of a new event, then became two events, and then became a more permanent thing. So, first thing I just want to say, I know a lot of the Dota talent. I know surprisingly a lot of people in the Dota scene. I know I always bang on the community, the subreddit, because it just is insufferable, and they're entitled babies. But I play Dota. Dota's my jam. Dota's my game. I know that I've worked Dota events. I always wanted to work more. I'm hoping I get to do that with PGL. I told them when they asked if I would sign up for their CS tour, I said, yeah, and I'll do your Dota one as well if you want. I like the broadcast talent. I think they have a phenomenally talented group of people that are criminally underused and underappreciated. And in the same way, I have a philosophy about making esports desks an entertainment product. I'd like to go over and try that in Dota, right? So, I know these guys, and I know their day rates ain't shit compared to CS talent. Like, a lot of the guys I've taught, a lot of the guys I talked to, even some of the guys I booked at WSOE, they're on modest money. Like, CS broadcast talent are the rock stars of the esports world. We're the ones getting money. I keep my rate reasonable, but like a top CS caster, they're on a fair fucking wedge per day. You can believe that. And so the idea that they would take like a 15% cut on what are, for my money, already reasonable rates is ridiculous. And on top of that, for ESL to frame it as them being squeezed, who is squeezing you, sir? Again, we're gonna do this is my meme of the moment, yeah, where I pretend I'm at a press conference and I'm asking questions. Sir, who is squeezing you, sir? Who are doing the squeezing? The source said you were being squeezed. How can there possibly be any squeezing? You've just been bought by the Savvy Fund says they've still got, 30 billion left to invest? I don't know. Maybe a one-time cash injection so you're not having to make unnecessary layoffs. I don't know. Who's squeezing? I think I have an idea who might be doing the squeezing, and once again, I hate to say I told you so. Remember, they're not serious about esports, they're serious about esports washing. It doesn't matter if esports fails, they're sports washing everywhere else. It's okay. They'll win hearts and minds with boxing. Ronaldo will come out and do a tweet saying this can only happen in Riyadh. Esports, you're not that culturally relevant. Not for now. They're more interested in the mobile gaming. They're more interested in creating games development jobs in Saudi Arabia. So, another source confirmed the pay cuts were now permanent, and that talent had felt pressure to accept them as it wasn't clear if there would be any other options for work outside of the ESL Faceit group. When the biggest Dota TO, meaning tournament operator, says that if you don't take pay cuts, they're either going to hire fewer people or run fewer events, then you have to agree. No one is going to risk getting no work, so in the end, everyone agreed to it. Now, I want to remind you, this is exactly what Too Good was sort of trying to push back against as well, a future where this was happening. If you remember the whole James is an ass meme and he put out his document, I know again for a fact that what he put in that needlessly long and verbose Google Doc was accurate. He was trying to get broadcast talent to mobilize and was instrumental in helping them get recognized for, things in the game and getting some financial compensation for shit like that. It was you're not going to get anything for free, right? You have to fight to get you're doing life, you know? Anyway, at that time, as I've just said, the ESL Face It calendar was the calendar. DPC's gone. And if you want to get hired for TI, which is where you really make the money, right, generally speaking, well, you're going to have to work all the events. Because if you're not relevant, and let me also tell you something, I'll go big head for this too, because this is a part of Richie wisdom. And if you're a broadcast talent listening right now, you know in your heart it's true. And if you're aspiring broadcast talent, you also know this is true. And if you are just starting and you're fledgling talent, take heed to this. What terrifies broadcast talent? It's not about not having money. And it's not actually about not having work per se. Even though they love the work, we all do it because we love it on some level. It's the fear of irrelevancy. That's the true terror, because ultimately, esports broadcast talent, we're just advanced versions of the child with the hairbrush singing into the mirror, hoping you're going to get to do it on stage one day. And it's like a drug when you get to do it. Like, I'm probably an egotistical narcissist fuck like everybody else in the entertainment industry, right? Like, I like having an audience. I fear the day it goes away. I fear the day I turn on my stream and I see viewer count 0, right? Or the day they go, Richard, you're too old. We just can't hire you anymore. You know? The same way that athletes can't deal with the lack of competition, broadcast talent can't deal with the lack of being talked about, the lack of exposure, the lack of being hired, right? That's the terror. That's why they're always tweeting crazy shit. No one has to do it. But if I don't give an opinion on this, do I even exist? You know? Like if a patch drops and I don't make a sound, do I get hired to TI? And so we're all locked into this like mad little world. One of the crazy things in the industry is, and you have to take this, there are some people so addicted to that feeling of relevancy and adoration that they would do this for free. Very often, that's how they get you. That's how they exploit you. That's how they twist your arm. Because they know you're scared of irrelevancy. And ESL wield this power like no one else I've ever seen in the industry. And I'm a really go biblical here. Because it's sad. Because one of the guys who does it over in CS is Joe Miller. And Joe Miller knows that. Joe Miller knows. Because he's been a great caster. Joe Miller's the booker. And so he says to people like, oh, I don't know if you can hire you for this. You might have to take a cut. Your rates are a little bit high. I might not be able to get you this little perk or whatever it is that you've asked for. And he knows that you're terrified of the irrelevancy. Because I'll tell you, we have a fickle fan base. We really do. And if you don't get hired for 2 or 3 events, people might just forget about you entirely. Like, they might forget about you entirely. Like, imagine how sort of sad it is, by the way, that, like, I don't know. I know Matt went out on his own terms, but, like, Sadikis is, like, the greatest caster we had. I still believe that. And yet, you don't see anything about him. No one talks about him. No one brings him up religiously. There's no pressure movements to bring him back. We all just go, huh, well, Harry and Hugo are fucking great right now, and Launders and Scrawny are killing it. We've got stalwarts. Like, we just move on. You know what I mean? And it's like that, when you see that on the sidelines, like imagine objectively looking at someone that's in like a Hall of Fame level talent in his field and no one even brings them up anymore. Like, oh shit, what up? I better take it. I better take the pay cuts. I better take whatever spoonful of shit ESL are doing the aeroplane with. And so I've got great sympathy about it because, you know, the hardest thing that the hardest thing I've ever had to like, kind of like watch people go through is when they fade and how they cope with it. And it's tough because, you know, people are like, you know, I'll get back on my grind set. And you go, oh, no, you can't see the sun setting. And it's brutal. Really is. Like faded beauties getting too much Botox. It's just sad. You got to age gracefully and appreciate we all have a time. We all have a shelf life. We all have longevity. And some people last longer than others. And this is an industry for young people. This is an industry, by the way, watched by young people. You know, not many. But, you know, the boomer audience, I've got that market cornered, but you can see how big it is. So you have to sympathize because that fear is ruthlessly exploited. And I see it in situations, you know, like this story we're talking about. Towards the end of 2023, Valve had decided to end their Dota professional circuit after 6 years, leaving the International as the only official Valve event. This left the ESL ESL Face It circuit. Why do I never proofread my articles? As the premier circuit left for Dota 2, having put millions of dollars into facilitating teams' participation in Dream League and the subsequent Riyadh Masters. And I also want to make that known, by the way, right, that get this. Imagine being told you're a broadcast talent. I'm like the face of your product. I'm the voice of your product, right? You're hiring me freelance, but people don't think about that when they're listening to me. They expect me to be at every event. And when I am the face of that event. And Lord knows, you hold me accountable if I fuck up on live television, even if it's your hot mic, it's me who carries the can. And so you are going to cut my money, but do you know what they did for Dream League? They went to all of the teams, pitched them the new Road to Riyadh system, and said they would find a way to get them financial assistance so they could come to Europe and boot camp. So imagine I'm the face and the voice of your shit, and this is where I matter on the totem pole. Rock bottom. You didn't go to orgs and teams and say, we're going to have to pull the money and all this other shit. No. You didn't say, we're going to have to cut the prize money. No, you didn't do that. You came to the broadcast talent and did that. And then, of course, because it's esports, high comedy. PGL announced a minimum of 8 $1 million prize tournaments across 2024 and 2026. And then Blast came out of nowhere and said, we're going to do 5 Dota events from November 24 to November 25. And it's going to be called the Blast Slam Circuit. And so suddenly, there's these events. Now, I don't know, by the way, if you were broadcast talent that took that pay cut, that would have changed your decision. Maybe you like working with ESL. Maybe you think it's worth taking the pay cut. Right? Maybe you do want to do Dream League. Maybe you do want to be in Riyadh. Maybe you want to do all of those things. That's cool. Your life, your choices. But, I mean, equally, if there were other events on the calendar or you knew they were coming, right, maybe you might have said, well, look, I'll just go exclusive. I'll go exclusive PGL. I'll get money for being the face and the voice you only see at PGL. And the community love me, and they'll shit on your event every day for not hiring me. And they won't know why I'm not at your event, and they'll think it's your bad, but I made the call, and I'm fucking off. And then ESL go, well, we don't want that drama. You're too important. And they say, actually, how about a pay bump if you don't work the PGL event? I've talked about this a lot. What broadcast talent don't do is they never leverage the opportunity by playing people off another because of that fear of irrelevancy. So exclusivity happens everywhere else in the entertainment world, everywhere else in the broadcasting world. You go to Turner, you know who you're going to see and you know who you're going to hear. You go to Fox, you know Fox Sports, you know who you're going to see, you know who you're going to hear. You go to ESPN, you're going to turn it off because it's dog shit now. In esports, we don't do that. You work every event. You turn on ESPN, it's Jamel Hill again. All right, and off it goes. And we're done. Yeah, no problem. We don't do that in esports. Broadcast talent doesn't do that. We want to work all the events, all of the time, because we know our audience has the fucking attention span of a fruit fly. And if we go away like a chicken with its head under its wing, they go to sleep and they just forget about you. So people don't risk it. But that's what you should be doing. That's how these battles are fought and won. You go to a PGL, you go to a Blast, and you say, look, I'll tell ESL to go fuck themselves if you pay me X amount, because that will make up for the shortfall, and then you get me exclusively, and I'll do shoulder content for you. Like, by the way, did you see how that worked? Remember how it worked with Face It? They brought up DDK and James Bardolph together, a great duo, nurtured them. DDK was doing Quake casting. James Bardolph was from the fighting games community, and yet they came together and were given time to grow by Face It, who were them one times a disruptor before they got just absorbed by the Saudi Arabian state. And they went on to be one of the greatest duos we ever had. Some iconic casts at some of the biggest tournaments. But you didn't see them at other events. Quite famously, you didn't see them at ESL. You know, and Launders and Scrawny. Their appearances at ESL events is relatively recent, isn't it? Because when you're that good, you have to be there. That's how that works. That's the entertainment business in a nutshell. But they won't do all the ESL events. They'll do just enough. so you don't get on ESL's back about them not being there or about there being politics or prejudice. But, I mean, again, if Blast were in a better financial position, or if I was like, if there was another big major competitor to ESL, if I was them, I would just be like, listen, I'm not coming to do your event freelance. I'm going to preserve my value, and I'm going to go get that bag from another big company. But we can't do that. And this is what happens when you can't do that. This is like what Riot do in League of Legends. They leverage their control to get better rates for themselves. And they actively work against broadcast talent. Listen, some broadcast talent, they're divas, they're arseholes. I've known them, I've met them. I've never been one, despite what people will say about me on Twitter or what people will say about me on Reddit. But no one, you will never find anyone who's ever worked with me that would ever complain about me. It would have definitely come tumbling out of the woodwork by now. This is what you get, right? But I've seen them. But I'll tell you this, right now in the esports layer cake of who's getting paid and who's getting bought and who's getting money and who's getting opportunities and who's having opportunities denied to them because of politics and things they might have said and things they might have done and certain states' principles they might disagree with, all of a sudden, guys, it's the broadcast talent that's at the bottom of the totem pole. That's pretty fucking wild. Anyway, I speculate if maybe they could leverage exclusivity in order to make up the financial shortfall. And the same sources that we spoke to said there was no plans to do so at this time. We, meaning the royal we, reached out to the ESL Faceit group with the following questions. Why would... You're going to understand immediately why they didn't respond, by the way, right? These questions, they were never answering these questions. Why would ESL need to make these cuts as a business? Remember, you've just been bought by the Savvy Game. You've got all that money. Why does anyone have to take a pay cut to work with you? 2, how does ESL reconcile the volume of prize money, $5 million, life-changing money, while asking broadcast talent to take cuts to their day rates? Has ESL signed any Dota broadcast talent to long-term contracts following this new arrangement? Now, the reason I ask this question is, let's imagine, guys, ESL knew that PGL were going to announce and Blast were going to announce. Let's imagine they knew that, and then they said, look, we need you to take pay cuts, but what we'll do is we'll sign you for a year on that reduced rate to do our events. Or we'll give you a little bump and we'll have an exclusivity arrangement. But I mean, there's not even anyone else to work for. So imagine, because of the timing's real weird, right? Imagine if they knew. And some people are now jammed up on subpar contracts because they didn't wait a few weeks. Again, I'm just asking questions. Has the emergence of other Dota tournaments changed ESL's perspective on these pay cuts? Yeah, suddenly the Dota space is thriving and competitive. Lots of tournaments, lots of events, lots of opportunities. And then it just ends with the ESL Faceit group declined to respond to multiple requests for comment. And yes, there were indeed multiple requests for comment. The story could have been out a lot sooner, let's put it that way. But again, you see, I try and be professional with these things. I try and, look, yeah, this is the game. You're doing things I think are bad. I'm a journalist. I'm trying to advocate for people with my reporting. But you're entitled to a comment as well. Used to do it for Riot. Used to do it for Activision Blizzard. All the time you lied to my fucking face or told me to fuck myself. But I still did it. And now this? You're messing me around? Delaying responding? Telling people don't even talk to him? It's disappointing, guys. It really is. But anyway, this is just another runoff, unfortunately, from the problems of having these huge, vast, mega-funded entities that can do whatever they want. And unfortunately, it's now negatively impacting on the broadcast talent, and there'll be more of that. If I was a betting man, I would say almost certainly there's going to be some of that gone on in the CS community. I haven't had time to sort of look into it, but I bet some of the talent had to take cuts. And, unfortunately, the community aren't even going to talk about that. Because there's been a new patch for Dota dropped, that topic of conversation isn't even worth talking about. Because instead, we've got memes of people asking unbelievably dumb shit. Let me show you what is more important than the broadcast talent maybe getting fucking their loot jacked, right? Here we go. This is a meme that was posted. Well, this isn't a meme. This is a segment from the latest installment of fucking Clownfall, and it's Axe, and he's right, and he said it's terrible. Here's a secret about being a leader. It's terrible. It's just babies complaining at you all day. Axe, we need more latrines. Axe, you built the latrines too close to the well. Blue, blue, blue. Axe, we're all sick. And somebody made a thread, and it said, is this Valve secretly complaining about this subreddit, always complaining about things? And it's like, but for that analogy to work, that would mean Valve had to believe that they had, in this analogy, built the latrines in the analogy too close to the wells in the analogy and made everybody ill. So therefore, that would be them saying, yeah, we do all these terrible things, like put shit and piss in the drinking water, and then when you get sick, fuck you. So it doesn't even work. This is the operational level that they're on over there. But hey, we can't talk about big important topics. Like, you know, this is what I mean. The fans just don't care about this stuff. It's like a weird spot to be in if you're a member of broadcast talent right now.